So this is a hive that I have in a place that I call the Magic Forest. And last time I was here, I added an empty box of drawn comb to the top here. And it's full of bees, and there was lots of capped brood ready to emerge. So it's emerged, and it's filling this box. So this whole hive is full of bees, and it's also overrun by snails. But I didn't bring a smoker, and I don't have a spray bottle. I got nothing. So I'm going to try to pull a frame. I'm not going to shoot it on video here, but I'm going to try to pull a frame just to see if I can see what's going on. And if they're not happy with it, and if they need smoke to stay under control, I'm just going to shut it down, put another box on, and call it done. Alright, so they're sorry, just slightly defensive bee on my hand right there. So they're filling up this box with nectar and pollen. So the brood is probably down below. So it's already filled. Like, it's not full. It's not capped honey or anything, but it's full. So let's just take one more look, see if I can do this without bothering the bees too much. And so far, so good. I'm adding another box. That's basically the spoiler alert here. Okay, this is a bit light, but still, you can see lots of pollen coming in and nectar. No brood, but the brood I would say the brood is down below. So I'm going to pull up a few frames of this stuff into another box and create an empty space right here in the middle for them to fill, and then they'll have another box, and hopefully they won't swarm. And I don't have a smoker, so I'm not digging in deep today. I'm just gonna hope for the best. And what I'm gonna do is sort of checkerboard the top box here, and one of the frames, so these bees are a little bit defensive, not much though. One of these frames is a foundationless frame that doesn't have any comb in it. That'll slow them down, give them something to do other than make swarm cells. Alright, I changed my mind about checkerboarding just because I don't have any smoke or anything, and it's just slightly too tangly to start doing anything too involved. So I pulled up 4 frames of pollen and nectar, no brood, and I filled in the box below it with 4 frames of drawn comb, but one of them is empty, so that should give them plenty of things to work on. And I will take this box, this is just sitting here but already filling up with bees, and I'm gonna put this drawn comb in the box. And here's another frame that has a bit of foundation missing, foundationless comb that is, or some people like to call it natural comb. This is a frame, a foundationless frame with all drone comb, and I'll put that on the edge, so they'll fill that up with honey. This is a nice frame of, you can see how it went through the extractor, but also how I used a heating gun to melt open the capping, so there's a little bit of melted wax there. No big deal. This is a neat frame. You can't see it, but this comb, this foundationless comb, has been around forever, and parts of it have been replaced. The middle of it was replaced last year. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's skip that. Skip that lesson. We don't need that lesson. So now, let's see if I can just whoop. See, I've got my these gloves on, and once in a while I get bopped in the hand by a bee. And I don't know if they would sting me if I didn't have the gloves on, but they're just a slightly bit defensive. See that? I don't know if that came on it, but you see them. They're not stinging though, they're just sort of bopping my hand, because I probably moved too fast. So seeing that kind of behavior, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Without smoke or anything at all, I'm not really in the mood to goof around with them. So I'm just gonna not do anything fancy here. There we go, final frame. I've been feeding them syrup too for the past little while since I put that second box, that extra box on them. So, whoop. But I don't think I'm going to give them any more syrup. I think that's enough. I don't want to play with fire right now. And so that inner cover is not going on. The inner cover is fine if I want to add a feeder to the top of the hive, but I don't. I think this is, I don't really want to mess with them too much. I don't want them to get too strong, is what I'm saying. They have plenty of time throughout the summer to get strong. So I'm just going to put this piece of hard insulation up top, and that's the only ventilation they have. Well, there's no ventilation, is what I'm saying. And I'll put that top back on, and I'll leave them alone, and that'll be it. I had to put some tuck tape underneath the new box because the seal was a bit rough. Bit of a crack there between the supers. I could leave it alone and let them make just fill that in with propolis, but it's still a little bit too early, I think, for them to get into doing that. Too much of that. We can still have cold weather. So until it's really hot, I'm just going to seal it in with the tape for now. I got a feeling I'm not going to be digging into this hive at all this summer. Maybe when I make a split out of it, I plan to, I'll probably come by in 2 weeks and take those top 2 boxes, split them off, give them a new queen, and then put 2 empty honey supers on top of those 3 mediums with a queen exclude underneath, and that'll be that hive for the summer. And the other one will just also build up quickly, I hope. And I'll have 2 hives on the go and get lots of honey out of them. So anyway, we'll see what happens. But the way things are going now, I'm not going to feed them anymore. I had that box on them, that 4th box on them, I don't know, a couple weeks now, whatever it's been. And they've pretty much filled that top box with pollen and probably syrup and nectar. And I could give them another feeder, but I just don't want to overcharge them. I just want to let them just, you know, not go insane with building and possibly swarming and things like that. They look extremely healthy and powerful and robust and incredible, so I don't think they need any help. In the past, I would never feed syrup in June, but the past few years it's just been really cold, and I feed in June sometimes quite often. But this one is the exception. They don't need anything. So anyway, that's it. They're good. You can see that this is the inner cover, and they're all finding their way back home. Got a little bridge made for them there. And that's about all I can say. I'll come back and hopefully they're not in the swarmy mode and they don't have swarm cells building up or doing anything like that. I just don't have a smoker on me today, so I couldn't really dig into it, and I don't want to dig into it without a smoker. I'm just doing a lot of set it and forget it beekeeping with this one, and so I think this is good. I think they're fine.